Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Steve Philpott, Chief Pilot in Charge for Myskaut Air Mobility. Back with our little series talking about what it would take to build your own drone assisted security or drone assisted public safety firm. Remember, the whole thing started with some guy asking me, well, what if I just wanted to use my drone and go out and build my own business? Could I do that? And in theory, you could. There are a lot of pitfalls. So over the past couple of episodes, we talked about the elements of the operation, the investment in things and training that are required. We also talked about the type of drones that you would fly and even the way to fly so that you can maximize your dollar, understanding the distance and number of customers that you would need. So this time we're going to talk about training. And I think the most important thing, if you take away anything, is that just the people that you're going to hire are not going to be there for a job. They're going to be there to perform a very complex set of things for which they will be responsible for the safety of people. And so they will be sharing their very well-honed capabilities with you as their employer, as their teammate. And I say that to kind of make sure that we bring out the very best of the people we hire, because we're bringing people from the neighborhood to be our pilots and visual observers and staff members and field engineers. This isn't something that just anybody can do, but this is an opportunity, kind of a next level, future forward opportunity that we want to open up to our culture first, truly. So with that in mind, we're going to move ahead. Going to have a guest, and for the people who, again, think, well, these kids can't, I tell you, it's another thing, I got nothing else to say.
Let's move beyond man-made limitations. We saw the data. We are the data. We are the builders of new systems. We are extra media communications.
I want you to deal with the problems by becoming rich.
So today we want to bring back a bud here that's going to be the dude on the ground, really the man in the thick of it, that has gone through all of the training and stays abreast of all of the things that the UAV, UAM, AAM, FAA industry movement is pushing, and he's going to talk a bit about the training. So I want to say, thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me again.
So what are the pilots to expect in most cases? What is it like doing the job? What are they out there all day? Is it like a video game? Is it But first, tell us about the uniforms. Tell us about the
uniform. Well, first I'll explain the uniforms are made to be comfortable enough for our pilots to fly outdoors. They're running 3-hour shifts.
The rain.
There could be weather, heat, rain. Also, they're made to be breathable. The insignia and patches on the side are, of course, for the registration, aircraft registration, and the pilot information, the license, FAA license, as well as the company logo. You gotta get a green screen. Get a green screen.
Okay, I will.
Company logo, and the patch of the actual organization, Myskaut. Um, the seal you see on my head here is your faction. So your faction is who you were trained by. And so of course you were my trainer. So I have your insignia up there. We're going to move into training most of the pilots online at first, to kind of make sure they can move through the hierarchy of events and knowledge that they need to know to be pilots. And once we move them into the classroom, physical classroom stage, and field flying modules, will begin to pay them. So the fact that our pilots can be, or that you can be a pilot at 18 is great for our youth, and we want to hire youth from the neighborhoods. But we want you to go through kind of a paid internship where you're operating in some area of our field operations, as well as our administrative side too. But you do get to wear the uniform once you have become a field a visual observer or pilot or field engineer. So making it to the point where you can wear these patches is not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but we will make the process of getting to the point of being able to get the patch, of being in the field, of learning how to be a pilot, how to pass your FAA Part 107 license, how to fly the actual machine, understanding general aviation. We'll do all of those things. There's going to be a lot of discipline necessary. So I personally demand quite a bit. So, where part of this is workforce development, a lot of it has to do with really bringing up the excellence that we have in our neighborhoods and putting them to work. It's not just giving a job, it is taking the talent that we have as an asset. So there's going to be, some personal and social work involved in getting some of the people that we want to hire on board. And then there are going to be those that are just truly interested in flying or in the security of communities, in the technology behind it. So these are the people that we want to attract. And the uniform was kind of part of the deal, but the other part was we want it to be recognizable. We want people to understand these are the pilots. I am the pilot that is flying the drone that you're requested to do whatever it was.
So tell us about flying. Is it like a video game? Is it, what's the experience like?
For the most part, flying a drone is like playing a video game. It's not super difficult in terms of the technical side of how to operate sticks, the buttons, and all that good stuff. What's difficult is that you're actually flying, and you're flying, up to 400 feet. And it does become unnerving after a while if you're, a mile in either direction, or half of it, just, a few hundred feet. It is a rush to fly it. Now, the rules behind flying, and I know you were explaining, or have you gotten to that yet? The rules of flying are the sticking points for everyone, because in order for us to fly as teams, we have to have some predictability within our organization. So we don't want pilots to lose discipline and have the temptation to fly too fast, too far, too low, and take pictures where they shouldn't. So there's a lot that goes into making sure that you are, as a person, of integrity, and you can do this job. So that part, you have that feeling when you are operating, that you have this sense of responsibility to your community as far as the safety is concerned, and that you have qualified to do so. So there is a service level of excellence that we look for and that you feel you should deliver as a pilot.
What about flying over neighborhoods? What are the concerns with that?
That's kind of your deal. That's your deal. I'm the pilot. I
Yeah,
just
it's
make
like
sure that we get a team up, that we've got a
Same.
good online learning management system, that our courses are intuitive, and that everyone progresses as they can progress, but they're meeting the milestones we need to have the very best operators flying our sectors. So, as far as what's going on the ground, personally, I think it's a travesty. I think it's as big and quiet an issue as Darfur was, in my mind. I think there should be as big and opposing a response. So I'm down for the work that the businesses and the residents want us to do with the technologies that we have. Again, this is just applied technology. We're not doing anything particularly outrageously over the top or on the edge with the technology. We are doing what the residents and the businesses have asked us to do. So as long as they ask us to do it, we will do those things that help our neighborhoods get better. And hopefully, next year this time, 2 years this time, we won't be talking about this. We'll be talking about how the pilots operate in a delivery model, or the unmanned aerial urban
UAM, urban
mobility
air
space that's coming
mobility.
forward. So how are our pilots taking advantage of career opportunities in the FAA and aviation because of this first step? And then two, the drone team.
The youth drone flight
We really
team.
want
Youth
that
drone
same
flight
integrity
club.
and discipline to translate into excellence when our guys, some of our guys are going to come from this drone team. So we want our pilots to exemplify that role so that the members of the drone team operate at a level of excellence where we win and where our communities win, because we've raised the bar on what our culture truly is, and we're expressing that both in creative youth drone racing as well as traditional security. So,
Well, thanks for coming. And before you go, how many pilots are there?
well, I wish there were several pilots. Right now, there's 3 of us, so we can manage an entire sector.
What about hiring?
So we're going to be looking to hire. We're doing 2 things that are really important. One, you're working on the app that will allow people to request the service when they need it, or set up the service if they need to change it. And then 2, we have to have this training choke point moved. We need to be able to have the online learning management system available, plus an inflow of entrepreneurial young people from 18 through on up, really, to look at unmanned or UAM as an opportunity and just apply once we open up the job component of our business. Right now, we're finishing up use cases, but we're going to need to bring in pilots pretty quickly. We're going to need visual observers quickly. We're going to need field engineers quickly, and we can train through these systems people quickly and efficiently, and ensure that they're very effective in our operation.
Thank you. Can you come back sometime? Tell us about some of your flights. I know we're going to be working on the hiring thing on this end. Hopefully, we'll have a lot more birds in the air, and we can help. We can help.
Yeah, man. If you want to see some of it, there are cases where I can't show you things, but for the most part, I'll let you know. I was at the beach just this weekend, just kind of goofing off. So if you guys want to see shots like that, I'd love to bring them. All right, I got to roll. Yeah.
The LMS
currently is based on our manual processes in running the business and carrying out missions. The ability to get a person ready to perform that job, both as pilots and visual observers, takes about 90 days. The learning management system will allow us to cut that down by 30 days. And that's essentially because there are a number of things that go into flying in the commercial low altitude airspace. And so we want to, as a primer, give each of our operators a snapshot of what urban air mobility is, the opportunities both from an operational standpoint and a career standpoint, as well as what the infrastructure of UAM is as this market grows. Additionally, we'll have courses for specific to our operation, and that's for the pilot and the visual observer, as well as administrators who aspire to move up the chain. We also have the Extended Aerial Security Training Program. This is for security agents or security firms that want to engage in the elements of drone-assisted public security or public safety security, and understand the communication protocols and how to collaborate with the environment they're in, from customers, other security agents, first responders, and so on. And then we also offer the Part 107 unmanned aerial vehicle general aviation training, and that's all of the nuts and bolts to get your pilot's license. So these are the components of our staff capabilities boiled into a training system. And again, the current system without a learning management system or an LMS takes about 90 days, which is still a pretty quick pace. It's a rigorous pace. The LMS, the formal LMS, will cut that down to 30 days. We also have plans to develop a heads-up display, or HUD. This is basically an on-screen display that would be on the controller of the for the unmanned aerial system the pilot would operate, that would have a game theory type methodology applied to it, a reward system for learning different elements, and incorporating or transferring a lot of those courses into this front end will reduce the time to field deployment for each of these staff members too. This HUD, or heads-up display, is the visor it's the Myskaut visor that the pilots will use. It will help them fly much more efficiently. And we're about a year to 18 months out on deploying that, but we believe it will cut the pilot training time down. So again, the LMS just standardizes all of the training aspects for us, and we can keep it up to date with a lot of the aviation regulations that are going on, as well as we develop and understand best practices for our industry. And in summary, it's a single platform. Everything's going to be in one place for people to come to. We'll be able to track ongoing advancements in their knowledge, as well as how well they're doing in their specified field, and the performance in that field based on various testing. And we'll be able to evaluate the performance and certification and the technical availability, which just means based on your achievements and the opportunities in the marketplace, here's the match. So we'll have that ongoing snapshot through the LMS. So again, the LMS is a very important part of our operation, and we do believe that it will make us more competitive, and it will make any drone-assisted services company very competitive and help them to achieve efficiencies and profitability by getting their staff to the field, deploying them to the field much more quickly, as well as keeping their level of proficiency at a very high baseline. So that's the job training learning management system.